is the beginning of December, and I have a very small recently acquired books this month, which is awesome. It's actually the second smallest recently acquired books besides January 2022. So if you don't know, I have been logging all my recently acquired books throughout the year of 2022, and every month I've been doing a recently acquired books video sharing and showing you the book haul that I got the previous month. You can see a playlist linked down below, and you can also see my RAB recently acquired books spreadsheet video where I describe all the ways that I'm keeping track of my recently acquired books. One of the books that I picked up this month was The Paddington Mystery by John Rode. I might have gotten this at a little free library. This just seemed like a reissue Golden Age mystery, which I'm always all about. I picked up Women Hollering Creek and Other Stories by Sandra Cisneros. In the beginning of 2022, I read The House on Mango Street, which is an American modern classic Latinx work for like young adults or new adults. And that is probably Sandra Cisneros' most well-known work. This is a collection of short stories, so after reading House of Mango Street, I thought this would be a good place to go next. Also at a little free library in Belmar, New Jersey, I got Diary of an Oxygen Thief by Anonymous. I mostly thought this was interesting because it was extremely short, just a little short novella, and because it was by Anonymous, so I took it home to see what it was all about, and it sounds really interesting, kind of like literary figures or embodiments of literary figures coming together, so I thought I might read this one. I was super lucky to find Ace, What Asexuality Reveals About Desire in Society and the Meaning of Sex by Angela Chen in a little free library. This is a collection of essays by Angela Chen. It is supposedly one of the foremost works on asexuality and about asexuality, and a great introduction to ACE and the ACE umbrella. Always wanting to know more about queer stories and queer lifestyles, I definitely am excited to get to this one. I think at Goodwill I got Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. The headline says Problems of American Society. So this is a set of essays about civil rights. It was published in 1968, and I've been kind of collecting essays written in this time period or collected in this time period about American culture, American life, and rights in America. I haven't read any of them yet, but I keep collecting them. Partly they always have amazing covers, and partly it is something that interests me, like when the civil rights movement was happening and why we're seeing like a reversal of that now. So learning about them from that time and then learning about them now, I think is a good idea. In a new little free library in Belmar, New Jersey, I found A Tale of Two Worlds by Michael Faber. This is a young adult middle grade. So this looks like a young adult or middle grade, but I'm not sure if it's not like a seemingly young adult, but adult novel. But I heard about this very early on in BookTube, and it's about things slowly being removed from like public consciousness and knowledge. So like it starts with the letter D being removed. This also has something to do with literary figures and literary characters. I think this one's going to be really interesting. Earlier this year I read the first of Rupi Kaur's poetry books, and I didn't love it. She has a style that is very short, and she does these kind of little images to go along with them, but I thought it was interesting for a first poetry book written by a 19-year-old. So when I saw one of her next poetry books, The Sun and Her Flowers, I wanted to pick that up and see how her style evolved and how her story changes and grows over time through her poetry. At the book garden in New Egypt, New Jersey, I got Virginia Woolf Monday or Tuesday 8 Stories. I do want to get to some Virginia Woolf. I have never read any Virginia Woolf, and I thought maybe these very short stories would be a good place to start. At a Goodwill in Ocean Township, New Jersey, I got Pen Pal by Danthan Auerbach. I had seen Ashley's Little Library and a few other horror readers read this one. Some of them really liked it, some of them didn't like it. It's kind of long, and one thing that I did hear about it was that the writing style changes drastically from beginning to end, because this was originally written on like a fan writing website. So a place where amateur authors could write stories a chapter at a time. And so that's how this story evolved. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to like this one, but I wanted to pick it up and at least read a few chapters to see how I felt about it. The last book that I got in November was The Cutting Season by Attica Locke. I had heard about this one from a couple of people. Books and Lala read this one, and I think Books Like Whoa recently did a Attica Locke reading vlog as well. Attica Locke is a Black American author who writes crime, mysteries, and this is one of the ones that I've heard is really good, so I'm interested to try her work and see if I enjoy it. At the Book Garden, I also got The 39 Steps by John Buchan, and I had heard about this one because of the movie that was made, I think in the 50s or 60s, but I haven't seen that film. This is just a very short, concise crime novella. When I saw it, especially because it was the Dover Thrift Edition, I wanted to pick it up. Recently, Peter from Pensive Reading mentioned that he has this one as well, so hopefully we're going to buddy read this sometime in the new year. Aaron Facer, I think, also mentioned it, so maybe we could all buddy read it together. I got The Day and Their Return by Paul Anderson. This is a classic sci-fi by a well-known classic sci-fi author. I haven't read any Paul Anderson, but my husband really likes him, and this one just was very appealing and enticing with its deckled edges and no jacket. I'll look this one up and see what it's about before putting it on my TBR shelf. It might just end up going on my red shelf with our other Paul Anderson books. And then lastly, we also got the 1978 annual World's Best Science Fiction Collection. This was edited by Donald A. Woolham. Look at that cover. It is amazing. And this has multiple different short stories that were written in 1978 or published in 1978. Not a lot of people that I have heard of before. Always good to get some vintage sci-fi. Again, this is one that my husband really picked out and probably is more his speed than mine, so it might not end up on my full TBR. I did get a few more books in November, but I already read them, so you will have seen that, or you will see it in my November wrap-up. That's a pretty small recently acquired books, which I am very happy about, especially because September and October were huge months for acquiring books. I'm glad to be paring it down, and I look forward to talking about my Read What You Own challenge, a video on which is coming soon, and my 2023 goals, which you will also see this month. Let me know if you acquired any science fiction this month. What science fiction book did you pick up in the month of November that you're excited to read? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!